Every morning from Monday to Friday, I'm swayed by packed commuter trains. Commuting by train is tough. It would probably be easier if your home was close to a starting station, or if your workplace was in the opposite direction and you could get a seat. But my commute is on one of the most congested sections in the US, comparable to some major cities. When boarding, unless the station staff pushes you in, not everyone in line can get on. Once the train starts moving, it's truly jam-packed. People are squeezed tightly from all sides, to the point where you can fall asleep standing up without falling over. You can't even read a book or look at your cell phone. It's like you're just cargo being transported. Every day, during this torturous time of waiting for the train to get to the transfer station, I felt mentally and physically drained. My name is Jake. I'm 39 years old. I'm just a regular Joe working for a small company. That day, I had once again become cargo swayed by the packed train. But something different happened that day. I noticed a woman standing in front of me, covering her mouth with a pale face. She looked like a businesswoman in her 40s, wearing a suit. I watched her anxiously, wondering if she might throw up, and she was sweating and had her eyes closed. But suddenly she leaned and collapsed onto my shoulder. Surprised, I spoke to her. "Ma'am, are you okay?" She covered her mouth with a handkerchief and said, "I'm sorry, I'm feeling sick." I quickly shouted to those seated nearby, "Excuse me, there's someone feeling unwell here. Can anyone offer their seat?" The crowd made some space, allowing us to get closer to the seats. A young woman stood up and offered her seat, saying, "Here you go." "Thank you." Supporting the unsteady woman, I led her to the seat. I had her sit down and asked, "Do you need an ambulance?" She replied, "No need for that. I just need to take some medicine and rest a bit. Thank you." She took a pill from her purse. In a split second, I took out a bottle from my bag. "It's tea, but please have some if you'd like. I haven't taken a sip yet." She hesitated for a moment, then said, "Thank you," and drank some of the tea. Later, she tried to get off at the next station. I thought it might be dangerous if she got dizzy and fell on the platform. So, I supported her and got off the train with her. Then I made her sit on a bench. When I asked her, "What will you do now?" she answered in a weak voice, "I'll rest for a while and then catch a taxi home. I'm sorry for troubling you so much." The now slightly better-looking woman bowed her head to me in gratitude. "No, please don't worry about it. I just did what anyone would do." "But you're on your way to work, right? Is your job going to be okay?" Hearing her voice filled with concern, it suddenly hit me. Oh no, I have an important meeting first thing this morning. I quickly checked the time and realized I wouldn't make it even if I caught the next train. Oh, shoot. I need to hurry to the office. It was my fault for leaving home during a time when a single train delay would make me late. Yet, part of the reason was that I was out drinking late last night entertaining clients, not returning home until the early morning hours. I usually arrive at work half an hour earlier than everyone else arrives to clean around my desk and get ready for the start of work, but this morning the desire to sleep in just a little longer won out. Still, I was late because I was helping someone out. If I explained the situation, they'd probably understand. That's what I was hoping. Anyway, I better get going then. With that, I started to move away from the woman. However, she said, "Wait, please. I'm sorry, but could I get your contact information to thank you later?" "No need for that. There's no need to go out of your way." I waved my hand dismissively in front of my face. "But," she started to say just as the next train pulled into the platform. "Oh, I need to go. Take care." With that, I hopped onto the train through its open doors. When I arrived at the office, the meeting had already begun. "Good morning. Sorry I'm late." "You're late, Jake. What were you doing?" But the manager, Roger, didn't believe me. "I'm sorry, there was someone on the train who fainted. I was helping her out, and it made me late. I recounted the events exactly as they happened. But Roger didn't believe me. Don't lie. Even if you pretend to be the good guy, there's no proof. If the train was delayed, there'd be a delay notice. But helping someone, there's no way to prove you really did that. Without proof, I can't trust you. Come on. How could I possibly have proof? Figures. Coming up with such an obvious lie. You really are a simple thinker, aren't you? Dropout. He began berating me. I can't believe you'd come up with something like that. Trying to play hero. A guy like you. It doesn't suit you at all. Why can't you understand that? Yes, I dropped out of high school and started working in a factory, then switched to this company 3 years ago. From Roger's point of view, a graduate of a prestigious university, I was probably nothing more than a lowly worker. But the reason I dropped out was due to family circumstances. It felt unfair to be ridiculed for helping someone. While I enjoy my job, I've always hated Roger, who constantly looked down on me. Not just for belittling remarks, but also for petty harassment and even stealing the credit for my sales accomplishments. Despite knowing I come in early every morning, he'd mockingly comment, "Must be because you're inefficient and need the extra time. What a pity." It seemed like he genuinely enjoyed belittling others. Even after he said there was an important meeting today and that I shouldn't be late, he paused it just to chew me out. This man was truly something else. The rest of the team just watched in silence. Being ridiculed in front of everyone was embarrassing and it felt terrible. Because of him, it felt like the other employees were also looking down on me. They might even be mocking me behind my back. It's all his fault. If only he wasn't here, work would be so much more enjoyable. That's what I always thought. 10 days later, the company hosted its anniversary party. This party is held every 5 years. Everyone from the CEO down to the employees has to attend. Plus, married attendees are required to bring their partners. Some even bring their fiancés or significant others. I heard through the grapevine that those with small children are allowed to bring them as well. As part of the company's benefits, it's an opportunity for families to enjoy a nice meal together. But I'm single, so I had no choice but to attend alone. Man, this roast beef is delicious. So many types of drinks, hard to choose. The food's great, and drinks are all you can have, so I'm content. The venue is a hotel banquet hall, stocked with fancy champagnes and wines. Wonder what I should eat next. Maybe I'll go for some shrimp. As I was getting food from the serving tray, someone called out from behind. "Aunt Jake, here by herself." I recognized the voice, and turning around, there was that annoying Roger. He was accompanied by his wife and college-going daughter. Both his wife and daughter are quite attractive, always a point of pride for him. "Thank you for always taking care of my husband." His wife bowed slightly in gratitude, and I nodded back. "Oh, the pleasure is mine. Figures you'd be here alone. No woman would want to settle with someone like you, especially not with your dead-end job and your always broke self." "Oh, come on." Hearing Roger's words, instead of reprimanding him, his wife and daughter burst into laughter. Like father, like daughter, I guess. No matter how beautiful, I wouldn't envy a man married to a woman who mocks others like that. Even if such a woman proposed, I'd decline. Just then, a woman's voice came from behind me. "I'm his partner, is there a problem?" Turning around, there stood the woman I had helped on the train just 10 days ago. I was stunned. I hadn't even gotten her name then, so I didn't know what to say. Then Roger looked at her and said, "Wait, Susan." Seems he knew her. "Susan is with him. What's going on?" Roger looked shocked. But the woman, now known as Susan, didn't respond. Instead, she took my hand and pulled me aside. "We need to talk. Can we step out for a moment?" We left the banquet hall and sat on a sofa in the lobby. "I'm sorry for butting in like that," it must have been a surprise, but I just couldn't stand hearing what he was saying about you," she said, looking genuinely concerned. "You're Susan, right? What brings you here?" When I asked, she smiled and said, "I used to be married to the CEO of this company. We divorced 3 years ago, but now I work as an accountant here." The CEO's ex-wife. I had no idea. I'd heard rumors that the CEO was divorced and single. "Really? I'm sorry for suddenly claiming to be your partner." "No, you actually saved me. Thank you." Remembering Roger's shocked face earlier, I felt a weight lifted. "Thank you for helping me the other day." We bowed to each other, expressing our gratitude. "So, would you like to continue as my partner for the rest of the party?" "Really? Are you sure?" "Sure, if you're okay with it. Consider it a thank you for the other day." "Oh, right. I haven't asked for your name yet." "It's Jake. My name is Jake." "Well, Jake, nice to meet you." She stood up and intertwined her arm with mine. We then made our way back to the party. From that point on, we behaved as if we were a couple. I overheard my boss saying loudly, "I can't believe someone like him is dating an elite woman like Susan. Unbelievable." At that moment, a colleague from my department approached. "How did you and Susan meet, Jake?" I was at a loss for words. Susan then quickly spoke up. "When I felt sick on the train, Jake, who happened to be in the same car, helped me out." "Wait, was that the story behind why you were late the other day?" So it was true. The colleague mentioned this while sneaking glances at Roger, who was a little ways off. It seemed Roger had heard and looked quite uncomfortable. Of course, I wouldn't lie about being late. "Jake, you were late because of me. I didn't know. I'm sorry." "No, it's okay. Don't worry about it." After that, Susan and I chatted about various things. We found out that both of us read the financial newspapers and had a lively discussion on the topic. After the party ended, we went to a small get-together, just the two of us. We shared more personal stories there. I grew up in a single-parent household, and my mother fell ill when I was in middle school. I had to drop out and have been struggling financially ever since. When I told her this, Susan was very sympathetic. Though she graduated from a top-tier university, she never looked down on others. She praised me for working hard despite my circumstances. She never boasted about her education or income and treated everyone equally. I genuinely admired that about her. I've been meaning to ask, Susan, do you have any health issues? I had always wondered why she fainted on the train that day. I hope she's okay. No, I just wasn't feeling well that day. I don't have any chronic illnesses. She said this cheerfully. I felt relieved to hear it. She also shared why she divorced her ex-husband, the CEO. He had been unfaithful multiple times. Fed up with the constant affairs, she said that she initiated the breakup. The CEO got custody of their high school-aged son, while Susan got custody of their middle school-aged daughter. The daughter said she was spending the night at a friend's house and didn't come to the party. I can't believe someone would cheat on a wonderful woman like you. I swear I'd never do something like that, I blurted out, perhaps a bit tipsy. But it was how I genuinely felt. She smiled warmly. This evening set the stage for Susan and me to meet more often. Later, I heard that Roger got into hot water with the CEO for mocking me for being single at the party. Makes sense. The CEO himself was once divorced and single. Turns out, he also started his business right after dropping out of middle school. Someone had reported Roger's inappropriate comments and the CEO was livid. Whether that was the reason or not, he was soon transferred to a branch office in Texas, known for its strict management. He's probably having a tough time there. Our department became much more pleasant to work in without his negative influence. After that, I was always nervous about what the boss would say if he found out I was with Susan at the party. However, When I passed him the other day, he said, "Hey, take care of Susan," and gave me a friendly slap on the shoulder. In a way, I was impressed by his magnanimity. Fast forward 6 months. I mustered up the courage to ask Susan out formally, and to my delight, she happily agreed. She introduced me to her middle school-aged daughter, who turned out to be such a well-behaved, cheerful girl, and she was supportive of our relationship. I never thought at my age I'd be dating such a wonderful woman. I'm even thinking about proposing next year. Before meeting her, I had given up on marriage and having kids. But now, I might suddenly have a lovely wife and a wonderful daughter in my life. I can't help but daydream about our married life together. For now, I want to cherish every moment with Susan and deepen our bond.